Let's go! Welcome to the show. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause it's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. Let's get the topic straight. Let's get things good. Let's do everything that we should. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. What's going on, everybody? Hope you all doing well. This is your boy Tay, of course, your host of Project Open Mic. I want to give a big shout out to all the people who are coming in and apologize for some stuff, but let's just put my lovely mug on the screen. So, hope you guys are having a good night. Having a good night. Basically, last week, did not do a show. Things happen in the regard. I was doing so much stuff for my grandmother that I don't know if I got weak or somebody at work or whatever. But point taken is I caught COVID, and so that day I just I was just tired from doing a lot of packing and stuff. But then Saturday came in and then it went. So I had minor symptoms on Saturday, but I've been doing all right. A girl got it because she got it from me, and it was a rough time for her. And I think the person I got it from, which I know, he got it, and he's saying it's been rough. So again, it affects everybody differently. I always said, never lied on this program. I always said, if you want to wear the mask and gloves, that, and also go see your doctor if you stuff, because I'm not a doctor. So. But I made it through to it, whatever. Just gotta quarantine myself and just keep still for a while. So while doing that, why not do the show? So this week, back on the show. So tonight's topic is we voted. Basically, I put doom, but basically I always say that we vote for our demise. We always vote for our demise in anything. So I want to let people to understand that. So we'll start off with this before we get into the nitty gritty. So the reason I say this because remember, you've heard me say this before. Nature causes causes droughts, but government causes famine. Or if anything you want to say best, then people. So a lot of people need to understand, how a lot of democracies, and I'm not even a full democracy person because, again, as you all know my stance, I always say people are idiots. So, I don't want mob rule. That's just idiotic. That's why the United States is made of a republic. That's what we are. We're a democratic republic nation. That's what we are. But we have that for a good reason. A lot of people are trying to break that down right now. Too bad a lot of young kids do not understand how the things that they've been taught and the things that they've been put in their heads that it's making their lives more worse and more hard for them. Oh, like Elon Musk going over Twitter, but you have no problem with Jeff Bezos, who owns a newspaper which is Washington Post. He's a billionaire. What about the same thing with what do you call it? And most of those people who stands at the left always kill me. They're hypocrites. You got your Bill Gates. You got the guy for Apple. All those guys are hypocrites. Because again, if you like what all the good stuff you're talking about, Apple, why don't you stay in California? Why are you going to another state? Because of the tax problems. Oh, because your state's crap when it comes to that stuff. Beautiful state. Not denying California's a beautiful state. You've heard me over the years not years, but a year of this program, hit California. It's a good state if it could be done right. And it can be done right. But the politicians are, as you know, that's mostly what the politicians are. Piece of ass losers. So I don't like right now they're talking about all the water stuff. Like funny enough, California had a chance to go get themselves a desaltation plant. And of course, here comes the environmentalists again of California, not the EPA or whatever, saying, yeah, you can't do that. I'm like, you need water. You have the water. When y'all had Jerry Brown as governor, back in the 60s, they told him, build reservoirs for people. Jerry didn't do that. When he became governor again, they tell him, build reservoirs and fix the dams. He didn't do that. Now, remember that dam that had cracked open? And there's no reservoirs. You get the rain. The problem is you don't save the water. And of course, Gavin, as I'll use it as another friend, Gavin banged your wife Newsom. And the reason I say that because that's what he did. He had sex with his best friend's wife. Wow. Yeah, we ain't friends. But whatever. He's not gonna build no reservoirs. Oh, this is gonna destroy the land, and if there's no water, right? Ain't that still gonna have problems? That's why you guys have a problem right now in California. It's run horribly. It's a beautiful state. It just run horribly. And you're gonna see more of other politicians from California in tonight's show. Okay. So you get in my point in that. And then if you go to other countries that say, hey, let's start voting, let's start doing this, like Egypt, China, Russia, all that stuff. You know what happened? People voted in their dictators. You have to excuse me tonight because, like I said, talking as much as I feel right now, yeah, I'm going to have to drink a little more water because I got a little thing on my throat. So I apologize. If you see me muting me, it's because I got a cough. Okay. They had vote stuff what's going on in China. Then what happened? You put in Xi Jinping, and look what has happened. Hong Kong was a free country. Now that was straight up just taking over. So I'm not going to even deny that part. But still, it's just up. A lot of times, a good one would be Egypt. Y'all got rid of Mubarak. Okay. Obama did. And then they voted in the what do you call it? I got you. They voted in the Muslim Brotherhood, which went crazy, and then the military took back over in that regard. So you had those people voted for those kind of craziness. What can you do? So tonight we're gonna be going through a lot of stuff. The Biden administration, I've said it before and I'm gonna keep on saying it. This is the worst presidency I've ever seen in my lifetime. I don't care what anybody tells. You gotta show me what greatness has he done. Maybe he's done. I've seen little good here and there, but his policies is straight up crap. It's just crap. So I'm gonna play a little bit of give me a second here, let me find it. This right here is shout outs to Awaken with JP. This is what it's like to be in the Biden administration. Just give you a hint there. Okay? Let's go with that.
Okay. We've got some big policy decisions to make today.
Can't wait.
Hey, who's the new guy? Hi, I'm Jared. I've just been hired to serve alongside you guys in a top spot on the president's staff. This is a weird spot for a meeting. Welcome. Good to meet you. Now let's get to the decisions. First up is, shouldn't President Biden be in on this meeting where policy decisions are being made that'll affect the lives of 350 million Americans? Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and run this meeting without him. It'll be so hard without his leadership, but let's just see if we can do it without him. All Democrats are way down in the polls, and with midterms coming up, we are gonna get annihilated if we don't do something dramatic. And now with Musk buying Twitter, we're losing our powerful way of silencing the competition. What are we gonna do? We could do a much better job of listening to what the American people don't like about what we're doing and hear what they want and then make policy adjustments based on that. I've got a better idea. Why don't we form a Ministry of Truth? Say more. Yeah, that way we can have a regulatory body that prevents the other side from speaking their opposing points of view that the American people genuinely like better. So we outlaw any speech that hurts our party's agenda and control of power? Exactly. I like it. I think that violates freedom of speech. What? Yeah, based on the Constitution, the government can't infringe on people's right to freedom of speech.
That is something a lot of people keep on not understanding how that works. You can speak all you want because of consequences. Now the government, as they just stated right there, the government cannot withhold the speech. So if you talk about the government, if you're talking about the government, they can't put you in jail for the words you said. So that's something that a lot of these young folks don't understand. Sad, but hey.
Even if those in positions of power doing the governing don't like what's being said. Oh, who's a Trump supporter over there? Yeah, look at Jared with his Constitution getting ready for a Trump rally. No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with supporting Trump. I voted for Biden. It's just supporting freedom of speech. Look, if you're trying to incite violence, do it on your own time. We have no time for fascism in these meetings. You are either with us or you're racist. And you're not racist. Are you, Jared? Well, no. Great! Glad you concur that we need a Ministry of Truth. But we can't just call it that because what we're doing would be really obvious.
Again, a good parody of what's going on in the Biden administration.
So what should we call it? Well, according to the principle of double.
And I'll say this too, because I'm not, Jared, thank you, because I've said this before on this show. I swear, somebody who's up, government or a rich person or George Soros or whatever, they found George Orwell's book, and they literally that's the game plan to make the world into this horrible world as they're thinking. I swear that's what it is. It's like that book is supposed to be a warning, but some people figured it out as, oh, this is a great game plan to ruin the world. I don't know why, but it feels like it, and that's why I like how they do it right there.
Doublespeak, we should call it the opposite of what it is in order to prevent people from seeing what it really is. How about the Disinformation Governance Board? I love it. That's still really obvious. No.
Exactly. Sorry about that one. It is, but people don't want to take it that it's so obvious.
People will never figure it out. Yeah, when governing, we find it's best to assume people are way dumber than we think they are.
That part is true. Sadly, that part is true.
Put it into action. The Disinformation Governance Board. Taking away Americans' right to freedom of speech, that's not okay. And that's certainly not the right way to win elections. You're right. We need to do more to win the elections. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Exactly. Wait, what'd you say? Oh, nothing. Just Putin's a bad guy, He's the worst. No, I think you're talking about... Moving along. We need to put an end to racism.
Which you will never, ever be done. It's a bad thing, but will never be done. It's, again, I always say racism, classism, all isms comes from tribalism. And we're just a creature of habit that's going to be with people who we agree with. That's just who we is. That's just how it works.
What policies are going to help us do that? Why don't we make everything about race?
Really? Karl Marx? There you go. I'm telling you, this is literally like it feels like what's going on in the Biden administration.
That's a great idea. That's not going to help. It's just going to divide people.
Exactly.
Next, we've got a major problem. The dollar is being devalued faster than ever, making it hard for the average American to feed their family. How are we gonna stop inflation? We could just print more money. Say more about that. That was it. I'm a yes. No!
And this parody, I'm gonna back it up with a lot more videos. So what do you hear in this parody? I'm gonna attach it to the real life. And you know me, because I'm gonna bring my receipts.
Money doesn't just grow on trees. You can't just print more money. You're right. Money doesn't just grow on trees. It's much easier than that. It's just ones and zeros on a computer. You don't actually have to print anything. We should print a lot of it then. No, absolutely not. That'll destroy our economy. Look, Jared, you clearly don't understand, so try to follow along with me here. Americans have a problem because their money is being devalued.
By the government.
You with me so far? Yeah. So the cost of goods is escalating due to inflation, which means their money doesn't go as far. Right.
By the government, right?
Right. So we're gonna print more money and give it to people so they'll have more money to buy things with. And we're doing this to defeat inflation. That's literally what causes inflation. Sounds...
Thank you. That literally will cause inflation. I did a video when Biden said that stupidly with Don Lemon on this, what it was a year ago, with the town city hall. Even Don Lemon, as much as I don't like him either, but see, unlike other people, I can be fair. Even Don Lemon was like, but that causes inflation, and Biden didn't catch on to that. I was like, is this senile old man really? I don't know. That's weird. And also, you don't print money. The government don't print money to give to people. They print money so they could spend more money on crap. They don't give it to the people. The stimulus was a bad idea in my opinion, but again, just weird.
Like what a racist would say. So I think we're gonna need to go ahead and print the money. Okay, Jared? God help us. Should we outlaw God? It says here that's in the next phase, so we'll get to it next year. Can't wait. Moving along. Now.
Yep. This also was destroying some of this as well too, because they're taking out those institutions where the government don't have any power over you, because again, remember like Xi Jinping in China, if you believe in a God and you don't believe that Xi Jinping is the God, you're basically a dissident. Ask the Uyghur monks, ask the Christians, and ask the Tibetan monks. That's why they in enslavement camps. But again, funny enough, a lot of people don't talk about that.
Crime rates are skyrocketing. So how do we feel about murder and having such stiff criminal penalties on it? I'm glad
I'm going to rewind this back a little bit. Listen to this carefully, because I've been talking about this as well too, which is crazy. They love to change this. They change the subjects. They create the words, new words, just so they could get away with crazy stuff. I'm going to rewind a little bit and listen to this. And this is how crazy it is.
So how do we feel about murder and having such stiff criminal penalties on it? I'm glad you brought it up. Is murder still a felony? Yeah. Well, I think there should be much softer penalties, like maybe a fine and some community service instead of prison. And maybe instead of calling it a felony, we could just call it an infraction. No! People who kill should be in prison. Exactly. That's where they belong, because they're murderers. You mean people who identify as one who takes the life of another person? They're very oppressed. You're crazy. We're trying to reduce crime rates, and you're basically talking about legalizing murder? Crime rates would go through the roof. That's where you're wrong. Killings might go up, but if murder is no longer a crime, then it's actually a really effective way to reduce the crime rate. Plus,
that's how they've been doing it in New York, California, Chicago, Washington State, Oregon State. That's what they've been doing. Killings might go up, as you just said, but we're gonna change the definition of the word so even though and it don't do nothing, but it'll make the crime rate come down, because if the crime rate definition has changed, then the rate will go down. This is sickening, but it's true.
Plus, our research shows that 100% of all people are racist, except us.
I like that. That's funny. That one's funny. That one's funny for sure.
So if killings go up, it'll be an effective way of having less racists in the world. No! This is the worst idea I've ever heard. Society will decay and people won't be safe. If we reduce the crime rate, what's the polling say about the midterms? People will love it. Polling for us goes up dramatically. Sounds like people will be plenty safe. No, this is just wrong. What's the matter with you? You're not acting like a liberal at all. I thought you were one of us. I am a liberal and I have very liberal values. Well, we're liberals. Why aren't you agreeing with any of our liberal policies? These aren't liberal policies.
And you guys are nut jobs.
And you're not liberals. You're authoritarians. You're just shamelessly hiding behind an otherwise respectable political label, liberal, in order to hide your horrible political position. You're authoritarians trying to usher in authoritarian policies. Where were you on January 6th? What? January 6th, 2021. Where were you? I was at home with my wife and kids. Sounds like you were at the Capitol building. Not supposed to be there, Jared. No, I was at home in New York. I've got proof. I posted a live video to Facebook that day. It's still on my page. I don't think the Disinformation Governance Board is gonna see it that way. What? Yeah, I have a hunch they'll see your alibi video as disinformation. I wasn't there. That's not true. They decide what's true, not you.
This is why you don't want a government to have so much daggone power.
And disinformation's not okay, Jared. And storming the Capitol is definitely not okay, Jared. I mean, unless the FBI sees it differently, but we'll check with them. Maybe you could just calm down and quit raising a ruckus with every democracy-saving policy we decide on.
You know what's funny too? Everybody going crazy. Oh, January 6th. When they was storming the Capitol in Washington State, nobody said insurrection, and people died. More people died in that than in the January 6th nonsense. Here's the thing. Both are bad, but let's be honest about it. Hell, what about the one up in Michigan when they stormed, what did they storm? They stormed the Capitol building in Michigan. And Nancy Pelosi was all great for it. And now you have Mayor Lightfoot.
Loser.
She, because of the whole Roe v. Wade thing, she said, yeah, we need to storm the Capitol and do it. I'm like, how the hell these words get that? And that the news media is horrible. It's letting this. I could have talked about, of course, the shooting that happened in Buffalo and stuff like that. But I don't know, because it was a contradiction in the shooting. Because again, my heart goes out for the 10 people who died in Buffalo, and it was a racist killing. I'm not gonna never deny that. Here's the thing, though. At the same time, there was another mass shooting in California with this Asian guy, not white. He also went to a church and killed people. But nobody's talking about that one because the guy is not white. Because the guy is Asian, we talk about it. And if you want a apples to apples comparison, what about Christmas with Waukesha? This guy killed 10 people, which is horrible. And many people are injured in Buffalo. This other guy in Waukesha ran over little kids and old women and had 40 people injured. And about, I think they said 6 to 8 people that have died. So, like, both are bad. But the news picks what to throw on your screen so you can see. And that's why we're getting divided more and more and more. Both are bad. But the news should not be just hitting you with that one only. You should be saying that, well, there was a shooting also in the church in California. Blah blah blah. Tell the news. Also, there was the Waukesha thing. Oh well, he's this. No, tell what happened. The news should just. That's why I do this show. You should be just what it is. Because I did a older show called "Homework Comes with the News." Sometimes you gotta decipher all the crap they throw on your screen if you want to look for the news, and that's what I'm doing. I'm deciphering most of the stuff. Again, you go and check this out. You can go and check Asian guy who shut up church. You go check that out. The Walker's Christmas parade. That was, you know that. Go talk about that. It's the same thing. It's the same kind of evil. So let's just treat the evils as evil. Let's not try to add it. Oh, Republicans this, Democrats that, whatever. My point is just tell the daggone news media. You losers.
The liberal Jared or insurrectionist Jared? Okay, I'll be liberal Jared. Great! Now, doesn't it just feel better when we're all on the same team? Much better. Okay, next decision. This is a really important one. The conflict with Russia. Now, we can certainly come out guns a-blazing and start dropping nuclear bombs all throughout the region right off the bat. But starting a nuclear war is not something we can take lightly. It's a decision that takes tremendous responsibility. So before we push the button or not, we need to consult with an expert. But who's the expert we should entrust in helping us make this monumental decision? Jared, what do you think? Well, I think clearly it should be a military leader and a nuclear scientist who can give us a loss of life impact assessment. No. This is an opportunity to improve diversity. Do we have any trans Asian women who are black that we can consult with to determine if we should go to nuclear war? Yes, but what? She just got out of the hospital. For what? She suffers from emotional instability and just had a mental breakdown. What's her job experience? Throughout the pandemic, she sat back and received stimulus checks throughout the whole pandemic. Well, she's also brought a lawsuit against Nike for making shoes that don't fit on hands. Does she have any education or? She graduated with a degree in gender studies. Clearly the most qualified person.
Why am I not surprised? It's a parody, but I'm gonna bring the receipts.
Get a hold of her and ask her if we should go to nuclear war with Russia. You're gonna do this just to create a diversity inclusion headline? I didn't even think of that. Good point, Jared. Make sure we get photos of you asking her and send them straight off to the New York Times. I can just imagine the front page headline: Nuclear war? Biden administration hires the first trans Asian woman who is black to decide. That's going to help us so much in the polls. If she says do it, any downside you can think of? No, it's just all white people in Russia, so no downside, only upside. I hope she says we should do it. Yeah, I think we should just be careful that we don't accidentally destroy our country. There's nothing accidental about what we're doing here. Real quick before you go, if you want to help make 1984 fiction again, you can check out this design and all the other designs in my Freedom merch shop at awakewithjp.com. I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, one of the absolute best companies you could ever work with.
So I want to give a shout out to JP for that. All right. So now, remember I said I got the receipts to back some of this stuff up. Well, let's see some of the receipts. It is crazy how certain things, but it sounds weird. It sounds off. It'll be like, what the heck are you talking about? But in reality, that's really what's happening. So, oh crap. It sounds weird. I want to give a shout out to JP. Sorry about that. So my girlfriend came through here trying to give me stuff to help my throat with. Thank you, babe. It sounds weird what you just heard. It sounds off. But that's the reality. It's a parody, but it's a parody for a reason. It imitates life. So I'm gonna give you the reasons why this is going to, again, the receipts. Gonna give you my receipts on that. I don't know what's going on. But before we go into that, again, you see how they looked at Karl Marx's book. You saw they look at 1984. I swear that's what somebody, I don't know who has the power, but somebody has the power for that to be happening. Okay? It really is. I think they're reading their books. But let's go further on. So here's my receipts to what we're talking about, okay? Because trust me, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous itself. Excuse me on that one. So there was been a rumor around. I wanna you know what? No, let's not do that. Let's do this. Let us do this. Again, my sources come from all over the places. Yeah, a lot of people is squared again. People are like, oh, we don't want this to Fox. Again, Fox spins as well too. I did a whole show about how Fox spins. So and it was not a positive show. So I know that. But the thing about it, we don't teach critical thinking anymore. We teach you more other crap in schools. But we don't teach critical thinking anymore, that these kids don't know what's going on, to be like, wait, something, that don't sound right. That sounds weird. That's what I should be. So, let's go with that and see how this should be used in that regard, okay? So, let me play this for you.
White Plains, New York, where a plane carrying at least 150 illegal migrants touched down this week. We were the only cameras there as those migrants filed out of the plane and boarded buses into the country. So we followed one of those buses, and you won't believe what happened when they finally pulled over. We'll show you how it all went down from the start to finish, starting with the tip we got about these migrants' arrival from Westchester's former county executive. Watch.
So, Rob, this has become a signature issue for you, and there is the illegals that are coming into the country, but they're doing something differently here. They're hiding. What am I looking at right here?
Well, you're looking at a bus that no longer has its name on it. The Pennsylvania plates are on it, so we've seen these buses here before. There are 3 of them. There are about 150 people that get off these flights each time, and they're coming in almost every night now. And it's a big middle finger by the Biden administration to the rest of America, certainly here in New York, where our own governor is just waving everybody in and giving them cash assistance and every incentive to come here, when she has every authority under New York state law to demand to know who is actually coming off those buses.
And where do they go after? And we see the buses leaving right now. Where are they going to head to?
They're going to go to one of the hangars where the plane will arrive. They'll come off the plane, they'll go on these buses, and then they'll go somewhere where we don't know.
We have been tracking 3 buses that were waiting for the illegal migrants for that plane to come in. Now we're waiting for that plane. When the plane arrives, those 3 buses will come through the airport, pull right beside the plane, and those migrants will be processed and loaded into those buses and into the country.
So our cameras were rolling as the first plane arrived and migrants rushed down the stairs. More than a dozen female passengers were among the first to exit the aircraft. Male passengers were the next group to deplane. And as you can see, they did so in a hurry. The stream of migrants then boarded the waiting buses. We followed the motorcade of coaches across the state line into New Jersey.
This is something we haven't seen before right here. Right here is the luggage. As you can see inside, there's all these shades, and they're holding it. You see the shades moving right here, and they're holding it together right here because they don't want us to see what they're doing here.
The part about this that kills me too You don't know who these people is. These people could have COVID. These people could be drug dealers. These could be pack mules. You do not know. But the administration is just like, oh, yeah, well, we just want the votes. And again, people always get it twisted. I'm not saying that the Republicans ain't got a fault in this either. They do, because they want the cheap labor and all this stuff. But the Democrats also want the cheap labor, and also they want the votes. So they could try to keep their power. Both parties are complicit in this thing. One just go a little more harder because of stupid stuff. But let's continue, because like the guy said, you won't believe what happened, which is, I was like, what?
And then their family members, you see one right there, they come and they pick them up. So there's all these cars in this lot.
At this point, the handlers began holding up sheets and shining bright flashlights at our cameras, and in the effort to obstruct our reporting.
Hey, where are you from? Hey, where are you from? What city? Donde?
Where are you guys coming from? Sir, where are you guys coming from?
Wow.
So as we've been covering
gotta say
this,
something
you
here,
may have
too.
seen this van.
Give me a second. I gotta see this here too. So let me get this straight here. If I'm looking at it correctly, it looks.
Where are you guys coming from? Sir,
That
where
looks.
are you guys?
I mean, that's a very nice SUV for some people who's supposed to be downtrodden. I don't know, but that's the way I look at it.
Coming from? So as we've been covering this, you may have seen this van earlier that was up in front of the big van, the big bus here. When we decided to wait and still monitor it a little away from the scene, they decided to just ram the car at the back, I guess to shield some of the illegals that are in here so they can just hop into the van. And as you can see inside of this bus, they continue to shield their identity. They don't want us to see who they are. We just want to ask them some questions on how they got here and where they're going to next.
In a bizarre turn of events, police showed up to the scene not to question the people who entered the country illegally, but to question us about why we were there.
Hello, how you doing? I'm just a reporter with Fox News. We're reporting on this story right here, National Fox.
We were later told that the people in the bus who called the police to identify themselves as Homeland Security. So
Homeland Security bringing in people who break the law, and they're supposed to be protecting the borders. You cannot make this S up. You really can't. So they could come in. So Homeland Security, you're not doing your freaking job. You're supposed to be protecting the border, because again, you don't know what it is. In the last month, they found 84 people who was on the terrorist watch list. Some of them were dirty bomb experts, which, for those who don't know, those are basically small nuclear devices that it could do. That's a problem, Mr. President, you jackwagon. That's a problem for the country. Somebody's going to get off a weapon in America because of this nonsense. And I'm going to be like, oh, well, look what happened. No, it was the administration. Stop letting illegals in. Find out who they are, process them the normal way, and I'll be all cool with that. But this is not cool. And I'm an immigrant myself, and I did it the right, me and my family did it the right way. Fix the immigration for those who want to do it the right way. I don't like this. I hate this at all. You're the Homeland Security, and you ain't pricking the homeland. How redundant is that? And a cop comes, I'm like, sir, I would be like, don't you keep the irony, sir? Really? Really? See, these are illegals. These are same people you might have to go fight, or you might die from one of them, because, you know, if they're a drug person, you don't know. That's the way I would say, when they hit with Trump, like people say, oh, they talk about rapists and all that. You do not know. A friend of mine got raped by illegal. A friend of mine got shot by, lose her husband and 2 kids by illegal. I lost my cousin because of illegal. Not all the illegals are good. That's why evil is evil no matter what it is. This is crazy.
we were accused of harassment. The border is being overrun. And this is just the beginning, as the surge of migrants is expected to increase in the coming weeks. when Title 42 expires on May 23rd. Wow. Joining me now, former acting ICE Director Tom Holman. Tom, Director, thanks so much for joining me. I just want to get your reaction to this. I mean, the audacity of the illegals to call the cops on journalists for doing their job. Apparently, they know what the law is. They just don't want to follow it, Tom.
Look, you're doing your job. The Biden administration isn't doing theirs. Look, this would never happen in the Trump administration. This is by design. These people need to understand, when you drive people or you fly people across the country at taxpayer expense and deliver them to the very people that hire these organizations to smuggle them, that's just going to cause more to come. This is back to catch and release. There are thousands of empty detention beds. We had 55,000 people in detention under Trump. We're at 20,000 right now, and they're leaving thousands every day being released. ICE released 14,000 criminals last year when they had thousands of beds available. It's this administration, the secretary, when he testified in front of Congress, and
14,000 criminals. Again, not all of them are bad, but I don't know who the hell they are. So what the hell would I want them, whatever. Just like if you come to my house, I gotta know who the hell you are before you enter my damn door.
thousands of beds available. It's this administration, the secretary, when he testified in front of Congress and he committed perjury three different times, he says his plan is to send more resources to the border, to process people quicker.
We're going to get back on our resources because I got a story that I found out that was true.
And release quicker. That's just going to bring more. The Border Patrol's already overwhelmed. So when they lift Title 42, it's going to be a nightmare. The Border Patrol's already said they've lost operational control of our southern border, Lawrence. The United States of America no longer controls our southern border. Chief Petroleum said, told me they cannot contain what's coming in. That's why they had 67,000 gotaways just last month. This angers me. It should anger every American, but the people that don't watch Fox News have no idea what's going on.
Tom, this is supported by the polling. A new Fox News poll said that 63% of Americans believe that Title 42 should stay in place, and then another 50% say that the border is worse off under the Biden administration.
It's been off.
When we talked to the cops there that were on the scene, they told me that Homeland called them on us. So Homeland officials were on the bus. We reached out to them for a statement, and we still haven't heard back from them.
Of course you ain't.
So the Homeland is not listening to the American people, Tom.
No. No, it ain't.
No, look, this is by design. Secretary Mayorkas is an embarrassment to the position.
Oh, he's a joke.
He is not the Secretary of Homeland Security. He's the Secretary of Homeland Insecurity because our country is less safe. Because, like last month, they admitted they arrested 42 people on the screening database, terror screening database. There's been over 700,000 known gotaways since Joe Biden became president. How many of them were on the terror screening database are in the country right now? You're not going to tell me out of 700,000 with 161 different countries, many that sponsor terrorism, not a single person came across that border and not get arrested that came to this country to do us harm. This is a national security issue of huge proportions. Yep. I've done this for 35 years, Lawrence. I've never been more concerned about the safety of this nation than I am under this administration. The secretary needs to be impeached on day one when the Republicans take back Congress, and I told them that last week when I met with them.
Yeah.
Those are the.
Yeah, he does, because this is crazy. Again, stuff like this, somebody's going to get off a dirty bomb. Because you don't know who's coming through your border. It could be a Mexican, could be a Guatemalan, it could be an African, it could be from Middle East. Excuse me, could be from China, could be from Russia for retaliation. You do not know. And these are the same people that were like, oh, let's do this in your neighborhood. Oh, don't do that to our neighborhood. Oh, but you laid into the poor people neighborhood in the middle class, but the uppity, richy people, no, you don't want them. Because again, remember, Nancy Pelosi, she has a wall and a fence around her house. She ain't, so let's not pretend that. Oh, walls are bad, but you have one. I guarantee that $25 million house you bought in Florida got some walls and security on it. Oh, the walls don't help people, but you have one. Oh my goodness. Here's the part where he said they're going to do. So I'm going to switch to this. Look at this right here. This is why you also go to local news and all stuff like that. Listen to this nonsense. So Hey mothers, listen carefully. You guys couldn't find baby formulas. Hear what's going on.
Speaking of the shortage, is baby formula stockpiled at the border? It is a question some are raising after Florida Congresswoman Kat Cammack.
Nani? Baby formula stockpiled at the border? While other people can't get, well, mothers can't get formula for their own kids, and they're citizens? Really?
Posted photos on her social media last week. Her tweet compares what she says are stockpiles of baby formula for undocumented immigrants with empty grocery shelves for Americans in local stores. CBS 6 viewers reached out to the problem solvers for clarity. What we found is that the Biden administration will be breaking the law if baby formula and other essential supplies were not provided at border facilities due to the 1997 Flores settlement. That's according to a report in the Washington Post.
I got a question. Sorry about that again. I would be breaking the law if I don't do this. I just showed you they're breaking the law by bringing it. They flight in illegals in here with taxpayers' money. Which law you want to talk about, Mr. President? The flip. I think that law is more dangerous than this stupid law. This is crazy. So illegals could get free treatment. They could get money. They could get health care. They could get baby formula, all that stuff. But you, a citizen who was born here or came in the legal way, and you pay your taxes, and they take a lot of money out of your taxes for dang sure, you cannot get a baby formula.
Taxes! Beautiful, lovely taxes!
Thanks for taking my money, asshole.
Basically, that young lady said it exactly the way it should be said to Mr. Joe Biden. I respect the office, but I'm gonna call out the stupidity that is going on, and that's what I said. See how they're playing this game? Oh, you break that law, but we won't break that law. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Jeez Louise. Alright. Let's go into another thing. So remember Jen Psaki, who was
You piece of loser.
transferred her powers to the first black openly gay female to be the press secretary. Hooray. Let's see if we traded the old boss for a new boss, because she was horrible and she would, if you're going to lie good, but she couldn't lie that great. So let's put a little thing here. I want to talk about this. Let's see what happened here.
Watching, I'll see you on Monday.
Congratulations. Nice to see you up there.
Thank you.
The president's Twitter account posted the other day, you want to bring down inflation, let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share.
How does raising taxes on corporations reduce inflation?
Great question. It doesn't, but that was a great question by him.
Are you talking about a specific tweet?
He tweeted, you want to bring down inflation, let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share.
Look, we have talked about this past year about making sure that the wealthiest among us are paying their fair share. And that is important to do, and that is something that the president has been working on every day when we talk about inflation. And
what the hell I gotta do with inflation? Even if the wealthiest companies still paid the money, it still would not stop the spending that you crazy suckers keep on doing. Just saying.
Lowering costs. And
these are people who got degrees and they're smarter than whatever. I'm like, really? Do you not even understand that the lie you just said don't make not a lick of sense? Like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. But I have something called integrity, you know. That's just me. These people, they sell their soul just because they want to be in the in crowd and they want to get their money.
So it's very important that as we're seeing costs rise, as we're talking about how to build a America that's safe, that's equal for everyone and doesn't leave everyone behind. That is an important part of that as well.
But how does raising taxes on corporations lower the cost of gas, the cost of a used car, the cost of food for everyday Americans?
So look, I think we encourage those who have done very well, right? Especially those who care about climate change, to support a fair tax code that doesn't charge manufacturers, workers, cops, builders a higher percentage of their earnings, that the most fortunate people in our nation, and not let that stand in the way of reducing energy costs and fighting this existential problem. If you think,
what is she talking about? Man, word salad ain't. That's not even the right word.
Think about that as an example, and to support basic collective bargaining rights as well, right? That's also important. But look, it is, without having a fair tax code, which is what I'm talking about, then manufacturing workers, cops, it's not fair for them to have.
Ain't gotta do nothing with inflation. Ain't gotta do jack squat with that. That's why I played the clip earlier when talking about how inflation is. Y'all spending so much money. That's the problem. No matter what taxes you raise, you're still gonna spend the money. So how about we stop the spending of stupid money and pay off our debt from debt, shall we?
Have to pay higher taxes than the folks who are not paying taxes at all.
What does that have to do with inflation? What does that have to do with inflation? The president said, you want to bring down inflation, let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share. Jeff Bezos came out and tweeted about that. He said the newly created disinformation board should review this tweet. Would you be okay with that?
Dang, that's messed up. She's not good at this. She's not good at this. Just like Jen Psaki, they can't lie with logic. They can't lie at all because the lies are sucky. Yes, even with Trump, I understand that the press secretary had to do that. You had to do a certain lie, but at least, I forgot her name. McKinney, she, at least like I said, her life sounds way more logical than this crap. This is word salad and don't make no sense and don't whatever. Holy smokes. We traded bad for bad. Oh, we traded a white person who was bad for a black woman who's just as bad. Same crap, different day. Before we finish, two more things I want to point out. Another thing here. This always puzzles me. Alright? I want you guys to listen to this too. And again, another parody thing. But listen to it because it always makes sense. I never understand. A lot of feminists always like, oh, you want to be just like the man or whatever. Okay, you could be just like the man. So you going out there, you want to say, I want to show my top, like the slut walks and stuff like that. I'm like, who's that benefiting really? Men or women? Because mostly men. Oh, you got promiscuous sex with anybody who you want. Okay. Your body could change having a baby. Even if you go through the abortion, your body will change. But again, that makes it that guys who just want to knock up women I like you and want you, boom. Oh man, you have a baby, go get abortion. It's crazy. But I'll play it so you can see what I'm talking about.
We need to protect Roe versus Wade. What would abortion bans mean for the hard cases that no Republican wants to acknowledge?
Exactly. Are Republicans so heartless that they would favor abortion bans? Even in the case of me wanting to hook up with hot babes but not wanting to be a dad? For a tragic real-world example, take my frat bro in Texas who knocked up this totally crazy chick. Then Texas passed this law removing his reproductive freedom to tell her to get an abortion or he'll break up with her.
Exactly. I don't think these feminists really understand what they're talking about.
And now, she's using being pregnant as an excuse to get totally fat.
What? Women deserve to have reproductive
But it doesn't end there. When he tried leaving her, she sued him for child support. But giving your child what they need to survive is a deeply personal decision that shouldn't be forced on to someone. Isn't that why we're here?
No. Well, technically, yes. I mean...
And overturning Roe v. Wade victimizes fun guys like me who just want to vibe with smoking babes who won't be able to if women have to take sex all serious and stuff because of babies and
Overturning Roe versus Wade is an abuse of the court's power.
Just because Amy Coney Barrett is much more hotter than the other female justices doesn't mean she can get to do abortion bans. The other female justices may look like lagoon monsters, but what counts is their smoking hot babes on the inside for protecting the rights of guys like me to get with baddies.
Shut up!
Exactly.
Don't listen to him. We need to...
But he ain't wrong. He's not wrong. This is giving guys, jerks like him, like he said, to do whatever he want. And while you mess up your body and also your hormones and everything just for the rest, again. And I did a video the last show I did, 73. We talked about Roe versus Wade. Again, they're not. If it get overturned, it will not be a ban. It sends it back to the states. Abortion is still happening. Again, Gavin Newsom of California, he literally put millions of dollars so you can fly out there and he pays for everything. So you could go do that in California if you want to do that. So it is not Roe versus Wade getting overturned. It's not a ban on abortion. 1, 2. It's a frivolous law in the first place because Roe lied to get there. I did a video about that. Go back and check that out. Also, it was more about privacy than abortion. So the whole, and also it was not by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court was in Texas. So there's a lot of things. That's why that law should be overturned. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that. I played a clip of her saying why the rule should be overturned. So yes. But he's not wrong.
Remember what this is all about.
Exactly. Guys like us wouldn't be able to get laid as much and stuff. So let's keep Planned Parenthood counting body parts so I can keep counting bodies. Thank you.
We need to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Exactly. That's just not good. Alright. Let's get into the last two things right now. So we could get this over with. Tonight's show. Like I said, I enjoy it, but I'm just letting you people understand. Economics. Oh boy. So, let's listen to this crotchety
piece of loser
man talk about inflation. Oh, it's gonna become craziness. Shout outs to Andrew of Don't Walk and Run Productions. Let's see. I don't know. It's hard to come up with some stuff sometimes when you know how stupid some things are. But we're gonna talk about this as adults as best as we can.
Biden. On May 10th, 2022, Biden gave a speech on the economy, and it didn't start off great.
We look at the economy today, it's clear we've made enormous strides.
If by
strides? Gas prices is going up. Food is going up. Prices are going crazy. What the hell is this senior old man? What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? That's strides, you old codger? Wow.
Enormous strides, you mean 40-year high inflation and record gas prices, then sure, whatever you say, Joe.
And our plans and our policies have produced the strongest job creation economy in modern times.
Oh, no. Exactly.
In addition, 8.3 million jobs in my first 15 months in office.
Fact check, false Joe. Those jobs were not created. They were recovered jobs that were lost during the pandemic. Let me put it this way. In March 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, the United States had job losses of 1.5 million. In April, it was a staggering 20.49 million. But in May, there were job gains of 2.64 million, and in June, 4.51 million jobs were added. So tell me, Democrats, does that mean that President Trump holds the record for most jobs created in a single month during any presidency? No. Of course not, because those jobs were not created, they were recovered.
Unemployment rates are down to 3.6%, the fastest decline in unemployment to...
That's the thing, that part again, people who use unemployment numbers, they're basically fixed, alright? I don't mean fixed, sorry, it's basically crap. They don't count part-time, they don't count people who stop looking for jobs. What you need is the participation number, the U6 number, that's what you need. And participation ain't there. Because we have a bunch of jobs. Everywhere I go, I've seen the hiring signs, but nobody wants to get hired because they gained their stimulus little check that you passed out. You and Trump passed out. Again, not gonna knock it, both. But you extended it where he wanted to stop it. So both of y'all, that was a bad idea as well.
To start a presidential term ever recorded.
Again, the main factor for the high unemployment rate was because the country was literally shut down due to the pandemic. But now, nearly 2.5 years later, it's at 3.6%, which I should note is still above the 3.5% unemployment rate pre-pandemic. Plus, the unemployment rate alone never tells the full story. Exactly. Because if you look at the labor participation rate, you'll see that it's still lower in April 2022 than it was pre-pandemic in February 2020.
Of course.
In other words, there are less people in the job force than there were before the pandemic. And that means employers are having a harder time finding employees to hire. And this desperation has forced companies to pay higher wages, which lead to higher prices, so that companies can afford to pay and retain their employees.
I want every American to know that I'm taking inflation very seriously, and it's my top domestic priority.
And he's taking it so
That's a lie.
seriously that he just canceled a high-profile oil and gas lease sale up in Alaska.
We've built a strong economy with a strong job market.
This is a strong economy? I don't want to see when you think this is, when it was a bad one then. Holy smokes. You are a senile old man. Literally. What the fuck? Gotta play it.
And I agree with what Chairman Powell said last week, that the number one threat is the strength, and that strength that we built is inflation.
What the? Did he just say the straight? sorry. My cough drop basically almost went down my throat. Holy smokes. This man is crazy.
So inflation is our strength. Got it.
Holy smoke, this man do not know what he's talking about.
Look, I know you got to be frustrated. I know. I can taste it.
Ugh. Exactly. Ugh. So cringeworthy. Oh my goodness. I need to take a shower just because of that. I can taste it. Boy, you, ooh. Oh.
And I'm here today to talk about solutions. And there's going to be more we're going to have to talk about as well.
So the man that can't even complete a sentence without effing it up is going to talk about solutions? Good luck with that.
Here at home, U.S. oil and gas production is approaching record levels.
No, it's not. That's a lie. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, in the year before March 2020, the United States was producing an average of 12,462,000 barrels of oil per day. And during this time, oil production hit a record high of nearly 13 million barrels a day. Comparatively, domestic oil production during Biden's best day is still at least 9.2% away from approaching the record levels reached during the Trump administration.
In fact, we produced more oil domestically in my first year in office than my predecessor did in his first year.
Who cares? If the Biden-Obama administration had been less adversarial to the oil industry, maybe they would have been in a position to produce more during Trump's first year. But instead, Trump had to clean up after 8 years of your crappy energy policy.
Yep.
My plan is to lower everyday costs for hardworking Americans.
How are you gonna do that other than make it gain more oil, Joe? That's how they could do.
Oh man, he is so out of it.
And lower the deficit by asking large corporations and the wealthiest Americans to not engage in price gouging and to pay their fair share in taxes.
Like you didn't pay your fair share when you saved $13 million last year for a loophole that Biden tried to get rid of, but you basically use? Funny.
There is zero evidence anywhere of price gouging by large corporations, and that includes the oil companies. For example, last November, Biden asked the Federal Trade Commission, again without any evidence, to investigate if oil companies are participating in anti-consumer behavior. And 6 months later, yeah, that accusation didn't pan out. I know you're shocked. But this is what Joe Biden does. He refuses to take responsibility for anything. It's always someone else's fault. It's the Republicans. It's Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema. It's the oil companies. It's price gougers. It's Putin's price hike. Come on, man. And that's why Biden's approval ratings are in the toilet, because he's a liar who is trying to distract Americans from his own failing policies, and they're not buying it.
Not surprised.
Next, Biden mentions how in 2020, there were 55 large corporations that made a combined $40 billion in profit and paid zero in federal taxes. This is a stat.
Okay. Before you go into the stat, I'm going to say this again. They made $44 billion in profit. Okay. Even if we took the $40 billion, it wouldn't do not even a dent in inflation or in the deficit, because the Congress spend both close to $7 trillion. $44 billion, $7 trillion. Stop spending, you crazy old goat.
That he loves mentioning and has used many times in the past. But today, in typical Joe Biden fashion, he messed it up.
55% of the largest corporations paid net zero in federal taxes in 2020 on $40 million profits. That just isn't right.
No, it's not right. The figure he completely failed to read properly is from the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy. According to their analysis, this tax avoidance is not only attributed to the 2017 Trump tax cuts, but also the CARES Act, which was passed almost unanimously by both Republicans and Democrats.
Never mind.
That's why I said both parties are in this nonsense.
The fact that many of these companies are recording record profit margins, even as they raise prices record amounts.
You gotta love when Biden demonizes companies for legally taking advantage of tax breaks that were granted to them by his own party.
That's the part that always killing me. Nobody always talk about that too. I've said this multiple times on this show. But people are like, oh, the Democrats, yeah, they're going to be, we're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the rich for the fair share. These people are rich. Biden, like I said, with the $13 million. Nancy Pelosi with a $25 million house that he just bought. Chuck Schumer, they're rich. You think they're going to write laws to tax themselves? Hell, look what AOC did when they talk about, oh, we don't do no money with everything. And I hate the point because AOC's like, oh, I can't pay my student loan. You make $175,000 a year, lady. You can pay your student loan. You just don't want to. You.
Loser.
But again, she signed a bill though to give Congress more money. Congress got a raise. Did you get a raise? I didn't get a raise. And with inflation, it's even worse because inflation is basically a deduction. Even if some of y'all did get a raise, inflation just cut it out.
Whatever. If Biden had his way, those 55 corporations would have faced a minimum 15% corporate tax, which means that $40 billion in profit would have reaped the federal government an additional $6 billion.
Again, and that's true. But again, let's even go. Put in your mind. Let's still go if it was $40 billion. Let's just say that.
I would like to point out that in 2021, the federal government spent $6.82 trillion.
Exactly, which means nothing. I've said it before. You take all the money of Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, all the billionaires, you take all their money, it still will not cover the deficit at all. We're at $3 trillion and growing. I've showed you the debt clock multiple times. This is how crazy. This is craziness. Stop the freaking spending.
And Biden's solution is to bitch about those 55 companies not paying taxes as if that extra $6 billion was going to solve inflation. I mean, we probably would have just sent it to Ukraine anyway.
My plan is already in motion. I led the world and other countries to join with us to coordinate the largest release of oil from our stockpiles of all the countries in history.
Again, and you proud of that? That's stupid. You have oil just in case of emergencies, and you just release it so you can make you look good. That's like me having a cistern tank with water, knowing that I can still get water, but I'm releasing it because I just want everybody to know around that I could use the water. But then when the bad day comes, when the drought comes or something like that, oh, where's that water? Oh yeah, I released it just so I can look positive. It's so stupid.
240 million barrels to boost global supply.
Except that plan isn't working. On the day of his speech, the national average price for a gallon of gas hit an all-time record high. Womp womp.
To further drive down prices, my administration is allowing the sale of gasoline using homegrown biofuels this summer, which wasn't allowed before.
Biden is referring to the announcement that this summer, from June to September, the EPA will allow gasoline containing a 15% ethanol blend to be sold.
And let me help you people out there because I'm a car guy and I like to do this. Right now, most gasoline has 10%. Go to a guy on YouTube called Scotty Kilmer. He would tell you, having more of ethanol into the gas brings down your efficiency in your car. But Biden don't know that nonsense. He don't know that. He's just taking stuff. He's reading off a prompter because he don't know what the hell he's talking about. So your efficiency of your car just went down if you're just doing regular gas right now.
And somehow, this is going to save Americans money by lowering their vehicles' fuel efficiency by 4 to 5%. Gee, thanks, Joe Obama.
I'm working with Congress to pass landmark investments to help build a clean energy future as well. From tax credits for businesses to produce renewable energy, to tax credits for families to make their homes more energy efficient.
People are worried about inflation in the here and now and can barely afford gas and food. But Biden's solution is for Americans to pay tens of thousands of dollars to make their homes more energy efficient for tax credits. Right.
Let's take drug prices.
Before he goes into that, and that is a big lie. Oh man, apologize again for that. I could tell you right now, and I'm gonna help you people out there right there. If you're gonna get solar panels, get a backup battery. One, make sure you have a year of your power bills, so the solar company get the right amount of solar panels to you, and get your battery. Now, if you don't have a backup battery, you basically even. You basically even. You ain't make no difference in your life at all. A little bit. Maybe a little bit. And I have solar panels, and I know that because I don't have a backup battery. I know that because I had to pay crazy prices in wintertime when the sun's not shining and the days are shorter. Yeah, I paid $100. What was it? For some weird reason, I still need to throw that out. But I had to pay in February $200 and something. That's the highest bill I ever paid, and I got solar panels on my roof. That's the highest bill I ever paid. Now the sun is out and shining, whatever. My bill came up to be $26. That's great, but that's a problem with renewable energy, just like the windmills. Where's the wind? When the wind is gone, what you gonna do? It's so stupid. And also, I do have a video here that shows how these the windmills themselves, the power windmills, then mess up themselves. So I'll do that maybe in a straight no chasers or something like that. And I know I've not been doing those videos in a while. I need to go ahead and get them back up and going on the YouTube channel. And also, now that I have that situation, I could put it on the Spotify channel as well too. Anyway, that's the crazy part. Now, the drug prices he's gonna talk about. This is what politicians do. They cause the problem so they could fix it, so make it feel like they're doing something. Trump had already had a law to keep insulin and stuff low. And what did Biden do the first day? He did an executive order to overturn that law. Again, he might not like Trump, but at least just leave that part one of those, that and also the key light pipeline thing this jackass did, but just that. But nope. He basically overturned it, and then of course insulin prices shot straight back up to the freaking roof.
The plan will let Medicare negotiate prices for prescription drugs, like they do with the Department of with the military, as it relates to what the administration is able to negotiate for prices for military.
Biden's brain is so scrambled that he can't recall the name of the Department of Defense. 81 million votes, guys. But yes, TRICARE, along with the VA, do in fact negotiate drug prices. But giving that same power to Medicare, well, Biden is overpromising. The Congressional Budget Office was previously asked if the Secretary of Health and Human Services was given the authority to negotiate drug prices, would it be possible to obtain savings in Medicare? And the CBO concluded that providing broad negotiating power by itself would likely have a negligible effect on federal spending. For clarity, negligible means so small or unimportant as to not be worth considering. And knowing the federal government, it would probably cost more to administrate these negotiations than if we just left it alone.
That is true.
Cap, and I also call for a cap on the price of insulin, which
You signed an executive order to stop the first cap because it was Trump, you idiot. Holy oh no. Oh, you're a horrible man.
200,000 American children rely on because they have type 2 diabetes at $35 a month.
Even though there are 37 million Americans that have type 2 diabetes, Biden singles out the 200,000 children afflicted with it. Because heartstrings. And as usual, Biden is being very misleading. Because when you look at what he's referring to, H.R. 6833, i.e. the Affordable Insulin Now Act, that $35 a month refers to a copay cap. So for clarity, this would not universally cap the price of insulin to $35. If you don't have insurance, $35 insulin won't apply to you.
Exactly.
Not to mention that it doesn't apply to all types of insulin or testing strips or needles. In other words, don't fall for it. We'll be right back. Anyway, if you've been keeping track, the only solutions that Biden cited in this oh so important speech about the economy were letting Medicare negotiate drug prices, a price cap on insulin, more ethanol, tax credits for upgrading your home, and taxing corporations. Is your mind at ease yet, America? So while Joe Biden didn't offer any viable solutions, he did, however, warn about those nasty Republicans and even coined a new phrase.
Oh, Lord.
Senator Rick Scott, Wisconsin, a member of the Senate Republican leadership, laid it all out in a plan. It's the ultra-MAGA agenda.
Have Democrats learned nothing from the basket of deplorables incident?
The ultra-MAGA plan put forward by congressional Republicans to raise taxes on working families. Their plan is to raise taxes.
Wait, you mean to do the exact same thing that you just did? I digress.
On 75 million American families, over 95% of whom make less than $100,000 a year total income. The average tax increase would be about $1,500 per family.
Okay, so a little background. Back in February, ultra-MAGA Senator Rick Scott, through his campaign website, released an 11-point plan to rescue America. On page 35, Rick Scott writes the following: all Americans should pay some income tax to have skin in the game, even if a small amount. Currently, over half of Americans pay no income tax.
Which is kind of messed up that I gotta pay for half Americans that don't do jack squat. Half of these are veterans. I mean, not half of these, sorry. Some of these are veterans, some of these are elderly people. I have no problem with that. But there's a lot of young people right now who are working and able-bodied young youths. And I'm talking about from teenager all the way up to 50 years old. Sorry. Get off your ass and work. There's plenty of people hiring. Just not the way you want it, but plenty of people hiring. Don't become crying at me about, oh man, I need to get my baby phone and I gotta get this or this or whatever. Do you work? Do something. Half of Americans don't pay no taxes at all. 56% of black women don't pay no taxes. That's from that's also from the Tax Institute. I got a problem with that, chicks. I really do. So women who gotta work hard, black women who work hard and make their money and do their stuff, gotta pay for taxes for women who don't do nothing. Right.
And he's correct about those statistics. According to the Tax Policy Center, about 102 million households, or about 57%, owed no federal income tax. Now, the details are non-existent because these two sentences do not equal a plan. It's an opinion from one candidate.
Yeah.
With that said, the Tax Policy Center estimates that if every household that currently pays zero in federal taxes paid as little as $100 in taxes, it could increase federal income taxes by more than $100 billion in 2022 alone.
And also, and I'm good for that plan, put some skin in the daggone game. Also, in that regard, that's what I thought was going to be with Obamacare. Like when Obama said it, everybody pay. If everybody pays, I have no problem with Obamacare. Didn't. But when he started sectioning out all these people and give them, and including Congress and stuff, don't have to pay them, I'm like, whoa.
No, son of a bitch.
That's when we have a problem. Literally, that's when we have a problem. So, I was never cool with that. We never said you got to pay a lot of money. Just put some skin in the game and pay a little bit of money. Put something in the box. And if we do that and cut spending, maybe we will help cut some of the deficit. That's why when people were saying stupid stuff when President Trump was in office, when he's like, the more people that has jobs, the more people you can tax. The more people you could tax, the more people you have to tax at a lower rate, the more money comes in. That's why they had unprecedented tax revenue coming in under President Trump. Unemployment was low. The U6 number was low. There was more income coming in through the taxes. Now again, I admit to this. Trump never said about splitting his taxes, and he did not. And that's the only part. Everything else I like the part, but that part right there, you need to stop the spending. Now he didn't stop the spending, and when COVID happened, he increased it by a lot. I'm not gonna even deny that, but on the Biden and Nance Plus whatever, they went hog wild. They literally spent almost 10. So Trump went from like $3 trillion up to at the deficit in his term, and Biden is not even at his half of his term, and he already don't put $10 trillion on the spot. That's a big flipping difference.
Remember, this is essentially a proposal from one senator on one campaign website. But Biden's going to lie about it anyway and claim that it's the majority GOP position.
Now, if I hadn't seen it in writing, I think somebody's making this up. I can't believe that.
If I didn't hear you saying the most stupidest crap out of your evilistic mouth, I would never have believed it either. But at least I played a video of, hey, you want to hear the stupidity? You hear it.
That the majority of Republicans buy onto Scott's plan. But that's a plan in writing, and he's in the leadership.
So Biden is claiming that the majority of Republicans support Scott's plan. But actually, Republican leadership has publicly rebuked it.
We will not have as part of our agenda a bill that raises taxes on half of the American people.
And this is why I don't like Mitch McConnell. Even though what he's just saying in there, I don't care. Put the taxes on those people. I'm sorry. You telling me you work and you don't get nothing out of it? F that. I'm sorry. I should not be paying for your lifestyle. As crappy as it might be, I don't care. Unless it's like elderly and veterans people and people who are disabled, and I literally mean legitimate disabled, not the one where, I'm only 300 pounds and I don't feel I should go any place to do stuff. No. Legitimate disabled. You lost an arm, you can't see, you can't hear, that stuff like that. I have no problem giving my taxpayer to people who do that. But all the able-bodied people? Hell no.
Will not be part of a Republican Senate majority agenda.
And that's why I'm not a Republican, I'm a Libertarian. Because what you just said right there, you're stupid. Exactly.
Now, this is my favorite part of all this. Before Biden's speech, Senator Scott released a written statement. In that statement, he predicted that not only was Biden going to blame Republicans for inflation, but that he was going to mention Rick Scott by name. And now let's read that statement where Senator Scott did not hold back. It's simple. The most effective thing Joe Biden can do to solve the inflation crisis he created is resign. He's the problem. Getting him out of office is a quick and easy solution. Let's be honest here. Joe Biden is unwell. He's unfit for office, he's incoherent, incapacitated, and confused.
Correct.
He doesn't know where he is half the time.
True.
He's incapable of leading, and he's incapable of carrying out his duties. Period.
And funny enough, when Trump was in office, they would say, but let's use Amendment 25 because Trump is not in his right mind, blah, blah, blah. All that right there is what this guy just said is true about Biden. But, we don't want to use that now.
Everyone knows it. No one is willing to say it. But we have to for the sake of the country. Joe Biden can't do the job. And this is the best part. Ed O'Keefe from CBS News actually asked Biden for a response to Senator Scott's statement, and here's how it went.
You called out.
Oh, Lord. Why not? Let's let it play.
Rick Scott a little while ago in your remarks. Earlier today, anticipating your remarks, he said, and I'm just quoting here, that the best thing, most effective thing Joe Biden can do to solve the inflation crisis he created is resign. He's the problem.
Resign, that's a good idea.
If only, right?
I know, right? I wish you could. Alright, guys. We're going to finish one more video. Because, again, you guys, like I said, he does not care about the people. He doesn't. Biden could say all he wants. This crookedy old man has been in government for almost 50 flipping years. And has not done no character goodness to the country except for his own family to make his millions of dollars. That's it. That's all he has done. That's all he has done. Let's go into the last thing of the day, because this affects you. A friend of mine said this, and it's true. You might not like the politics, but the politicians you might not like the politics, but the politician still gets you involved. Because even if you don't want to listen to the news, even if you don't want to listen to all that stuff, like say, oh, Joe Biden, blah, 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 I hate the news and all that stuff like that, whatever. Okay. You're still paying higher prices for food. You're still paying higher prices for gas. I mean, like I said, for me, I went to Sam's Club. I used to buy eggs from Sam's Club. 36 eggs from Sam's Club used to be $4. It is $11 now. My bacon went from $15 to $30 now. You guys remember them all Palmers, the Arizona iced teas? On the can, it literally used to say 99 cents. Now it's $1.39. It affects you no matter what. So let's go with my boy John Stossel. And again, listen to the idiocracy. Idiocracy. You'll hear it.
Record-breaking prices at the pump.
People are stunned by today's gas prices.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Why did gas get so expensive?
The reason for that is because of Putin's war.
The trouble with
Man, this man can't stop lying.
blaming Putin's war is that most of the price rise came before Ukraine was attacked. So some politicians blame price gouging and corporate greed.
Says the most greediest evil man I've seen right here. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, all that. They're evil. Evil people. I think greedy as well, too.
Rising gas prices smacks of price gouging.
Excess profit. Well, they just raise the price to make more money.
Well, if big oil could...
Critical thinking, people. Let's listen to this, because I thought the same thing, too, multiple times. Before, when it was over Obama, when Obama used to say some of this stuff as well, too.
raise prices anytime they wanted and get away with it, then why were they so cheap in 2020, 2019, 2018?
Ben Lieberman of the Competitive Enterprise Institute rightly points out that companies are always greedy. The greed didn't just start now. Prices change because of supply and demand. During COVID, with fewer people driving, the price of oil dropped. So oil drillers did less drilling. Now people are driving again, but it takes time for the producers to adjust.
The truth is, it takes months, not days, for companies to increase production.
I agree with you on that, Mr. President, but then you shut down stuff, so it's kind of like, again, you're oxymoron.
The president gets that, but he ignores how his policies reduce production. He just canceled a long-planned sale of offshore oil rights. Before that, Biden stopped drilling in the Arctic.
No more drilling on federal lands, period. Period, period, period.
Why stop drilling?
I'm refusing to sell out the Arctic National Wildlife Reserve to oil and gas drilling.
But drilling has long been done without selling out nature. It leaves only a tiny footprint on massive land areas.
We typically put multiple wells on a single pad, reaching in different directions deep underground to minimize disturbance to the surface.
Drilling in Anwar would have used less than 0.1% of the land. The real reason Biden cracked down on drilling is because his supporters want less oil produced.
And that's the sad part. All these are exactly useful idiots. Useful idiots. So stupid. But they use it so they can get what they want.
Claiming that'll slow climate change. Now activists want Biden to kill what they call the Black Snake Pipeline, which would bring oil from Canada to Wisconsin. They've already delayed it 5 years. They delayed the Keystone Pipeline 16 years until Biden killed it altogether. since Keystone alone cost pipeline companies $15 billion. Who would ever try it again?
But it sends a strong signal that others shouldn't even bother because they'll run up against a buzzsaw.
It's so counterproductive. Killing pipelines doesn't even help the environment.
Thank you.
Oil still gets shipped, but by more polluting methods. Trucks, trains, barges, all of which increase the risk of spills.
9,000 gallons of fuel ended up on the highway after this tanker truck crashed.
One final example of our stupid energy politics.
They're not stupid, John. They're ways to basically kill our own self off. Good grief, it is stupid. Here's California back in it again.
Last fall, this grandstanding California
You mean
You piece of loser.
congressman scolded oil executives.
Are you embarrassed as an American company that your production is going up?
They produce too much oil, he said.
Would you commit to reducing production of oil?
We're committing to lowering our emissions.
No, are you committed to lowering the production?
We're going to lower emissions, which is the source
Okay, I'll
of
take
the
that as a no.
Absurdly, now that gas prices are up, the congressman goes on TV to say they should produce more oil.
And they're still not increasing the production.
We asked Kana for an interview.
Of course you would never get it, because the dude said, how idiotic can you be? You tell them to reduce the production of oil now that the gas price has gone up. Oh, well, they're not producing enough gas prices. I mean, they're not producing enough oil. It's the same thing Biden did it with his jackassery. Oh, we're going to stop, we're going to shut off our oil and whatever, we're going to do that. That's what he's in his administration. A couple months later, where was he? He's bitching at OPEC and say, hey, remember I played the video multiple times on the past shows. Oh, they're like, with the Secretary of Energy, that moron of a woman, saying the same thing too. Oh, I wish we had a magical stick. Well, maybe if you stop calling OPEC illegal and stupid and all that stuff, maybe they would make them oil. But it's funny, you wanted oil to be reduced, but then you now want more oil. How that makes sense? Huh? You said we didn't make the oil. We need to reduce our oil. Okay, oil is not there. But now, because you see the gas prices is, and this is messing up your thing, now you're saying they should produce more oil.
Motherfucker. That don't even make no goddamn sense.
Exactly.
Interview. He declined.
They aren't increasing production.
But you just asked them to decrease their production, you asswipe.
Amazing what $4 a gallon gasoline in an election year will do to cause some people to change their minds.
Still, the protesters aren't totally crazy. We have to protect the earth, and sometimes the market isn't the best director.
There is pollution, and there is a reason to want to address it at times, but we have to be realistic about the fact that these threats are repeatedly exaggerated.
In the public debate, you're losing. They're winning.
Yeah, and John knows it because in his last video, he talked about, what he talked about? Excuse me. He talked about how they done GMO and all that stuff. I mean, that's the first time I saw John Stossel got a little angry against this woman. I might play that video on another show, but yeah, they won the public debate of stupid people.
At $4 a gallon gasoline, I think we're seeing a rethinking of the climate agenda.
Too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills.
Biden shifted focus at his State of the Union.
I get it. That's why my top priority is getting prices under control.
They're having to respond because gasoline prices are very unpopular and it's an election year. But in truth, they want to force people away from fossil fuels. It's a very painful process, but that's what they really want.
Climate change poses an existential threat to our lives.
The Biden administration either has to choose between affordable energy or the climate agenda. It can't do both.
That part is true. That part is absolutely true. And again, no. It's not. Stop playing them games. I have done videos about this, and I keep on still gonna be doing videos about this. It is just absolute nonsense. So, whatever. We let them do what they gotta do. And we've seen how most of this situation has come through. But these are the people who have a reason to. Give me I don't know why the camera's frozen, but apologize for that. But I don't. It is a weird reason that these people just does not care about what they're saying. They don't. They just say because they want their votes. That's all. So good. Let them get their votes. While you suffer, you can't afford food. You can't make ends meet because of this nonsense that they're doing. Truly unfair. But once again, I want to thank you guys for giving me your time in this show and helping us out in that regard, okay? I apologize again last week. Yeah, like I said, I had coronavirus and, you know, just was exhausted, so I didn't do a show. But try to do what I can do right here. Have about 52,675 people in the building. Thank you guys in there. Remember, you could go in the description down at the bottom. There is a link tree. In places that does have descriptions that you guys could check out. Share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Hit the notification bell on YouTube. You guys could do that to help us out. That would be really appreciated. Remember, our stuff is on not only on YouTube, is also on Twitch TV, Tempo FM, Facebook at T3Records.com, Tempo FM at Radio T3, Twitch at Project Open Mic on Spotify, Anchor, and many more platforms that we have. Nico, that's in Japan, Live, and YouNow, which is also in Europe. So thank you guys for giving me your time, your mind, and your ears to listen to what we have to talk about. So again, I could have talked about the shooting stuff like that, but I was just like, it's to a point. But again, we'll go from there maybe next week. Other than that, remember, evil comes in all shapes, size, color, creed, height, sex, gender, politics, nation, whatever. Evil's evil. And please try to be yourself. Use your critical thinking. The real teachers go out there and teach critical thinking to these kids, and not this sex crap. It's not needed. It's not. You'll take care of yourself later on. But teaching them critical thinking from the young age will make them be a smarter and wiser people. Because again, right now, what they want to do is have you as a useful idiots. As you can see in many chances I showed you that's what these are. The youth is right now useful. If you ask them certain questions, like you asked the special secretary a question that was simple from Peter Ducey, you'll see they climb up, or they're going to give you a word salad like, what the hell I got to do with that question I asked? So, hope you guys enjoy your week. This summer's here, so take care of yourself, enjoy yourself with your family, get outside, walk around, have a good time. With me, I'm just going to say I'll just be quarantined here until the all good and good. Right now, like I said, I am good. Little cough now, but yeah, I'm good. I don't have no pains and nothing, so thank the Lord for that. Hopefully I can get this out of the way to get back to doing stuff I need to be doing. With that said, remember, people are stupid, individuals smart. Be that smart individual. Check us out tomorrow in the side chat where we maybe talk about some stuff and see what's going on. With that said, you guys, peace out, have a good night, take care of yourself, alright?